I would like to thank Pierluca Charo, Secretary General from the Vatican Foundation, Joseph Ratzinger. And I'm going to introduce myself to those of you who do not know me. I'm the director of the Expanded Reason Institute. And as many of you know, and I would only like to remind you what is the aim of our institute. We want to promote inside of the university, but also outside of it, a special use of using reason that Benedict XVI called expanded reason, which tries to know the integral truth and the sense of things. The key for this to happen is a dialogue between particular sciences and philosophy and theology. And this has to be reflected in the two large dimensions of education, generating a transforming education that will have a real impact in our students and generating a more human science that will contribute to the common good and to the good of the human being. We are fully convinced that the university is in our 21st century even more important than ever. We have a great responsibility in a world that sometimes seems that has lost the capacity of thinking, of searching for the truth and committing to the good. In a world where division seems to be succeeding, we think that it is absolutely necessary that in the midst of this very crazy world, the university go back to its roots, to the universality of the knowing, because we will know more universality and we will understand much better the world around us and the human being that lives in it. We are living in a society and we cannot and we should not evade the problems and difficulties that surround us. That is why John Paul II said some words that I like to keep in mind when talking to Catholic universities, where he asked us to devote ourselves to studying the great contemporary problems. And he said some examples like the dignity of the human life, promoting justice for all, personal and family quality of life, protection of nature, the search of peace and political stability, a more equitable distribution of the wealth, and a political order that will be devoted to the human being. That is to say, university research and all university task has to go deep down into the root of the problem, looking to the causes of the problems and proposing creative and sustainable solutions. And if it is necessary, John Paul II said, it will have to be bold enough to speak up very uncomfortable truth that will not be pleasant for the political nature, but will safeguard the well-being of society. So in this framework and being aware of the responsibility that we have as university or university professors, we're going to devote this 5th edition of the Extended Reason Award in the human being and the contemporary science. And in this world, we will get to know the scientific work of many scientists focused on the human being, the understanding and the true progress. We will elaborate on a vision that will put science in the path of respect and at the service of the human being and the world. So, hand in hand with experts, we're going to ask ourselves about the challenges, opportunities, and difficulties that the different realms of contemporary science pose with regards to the dignity of the human being and the care of its environment, being aware that scientist developments will be fruitful to the extent they are at the service of the human being and the development of the societies he lives in. The subject is structured around 4 large axes, and it has us participants, the awardees of the 2 last awards. The first roundtable will be around education, integral education. We're going to have James Arthur remotely because for different commitments he has not been able to join us. He's director of the Jubilee Center for Character Virtues. He's the winner of the 4th edition. We're going to have also John Pislattery and Catherine Slater. We have another person. They belong to the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and they have developed a project devoted to scientific development in seminaries and to promote science and religion. And we'll also have Veronica Fernandez, who's responsible of the Regnum Christi and professor of psychology in a university. The second axis will be the amazement through quantum physics and ecology, and we will have Michael Taylor. He's an awardee, and with his work, The Foundations of Nature, Metaphysics of Gift for an Integral Ecological Ethic. He develops the idea of the gift from which to go back to goodness and the well-being of creation. And we will have Javier Sánchez Cañizares, who was our awardee of the 2nd edition of our awards, with work which is called Unique Universe, and he's professor of the University of Navarra. The third roundtable is devoted to neuroscience and psychology. We will have Paul Beetz, who's an awardee of the 4th edition of the Open or Expanded Reason, with work that shows a Catholic method model of the person, trying to understand the person integrity with a dialogue of different sciences, psychology, theology. We will also have Therese Laysart, awardee, with work that represents a dialogue between neuroscience and biopolitics and proposes an economy of virtue, and Clara Molinero, who's director of our degree in psychology. The 4th roundtable focuses on biotechnology and biology, always at the service of the human being, with Maureen Condic, another awardee, that together with her brother, someone who cannot be here with us, published work on the status of the human embryos through the dialogue of science with philosophy. And Carter Sneed, remotely, who is awardee of the 5th edition of the Expanded Reason, with work which is titled What It Means to Be Human, which is having a greater repercussion in the US, especially in these days where we're expecting the resolution of the Supreme Court on abortion. And Luis Miguel Pastur, who's professor of cellular biology, who's editor of the review Bioethics books and president of the Spanish Association of Bioethics and Medical Ethics. So we have very prestigious participants, and we're going to be listening to all these very important and respectful participants, and we hope that this seminar will be an opportunity to get to know people in our realm of knowledge or other realm of knowledges with which we will be able to network and generate new projects that will contribute and shed some light in this world that we say needs this light so much. Thank you to you all for being here.